stop using plastic bottles?
He said,
there must be something else that I can use instead.
Ooh, now we are talking, commented the seagulls enthusiastically. Yes, there are much better things to use than plastic.
You can use a water bottle made out of stainless steel instead.
You could refill that over and over again. What a good idea!
beamed Mr. Toby.
Why didn't I think of that?
The seagulls fluffed up their feathers, pointed their beaks in the air, and looked at Mr. Toby importantly. And then they continued.
Do you know that zillions of teeny tiny plastic pieces go into the sea every day?
Asked one girl.
And these tiny pieces of plastic soak up all sorts of horrid poisons.
While another.
They are very harmful to fishes and other marine creatures too when they eat them by mistake.
Nodded a third.
They could even hurt Blue.
Cried the girls together. No,
Mr. Toby looked disconcerted.
no, I didn't know that.
He commented sadly.
You've really given me something to think about. I don't want to hurt any sea creatures at all, especially little Blue.
Well, don't just think, leap into action today.
Cried the seagulls, flapping their wings fervently.
And stop using plastic bottles right now.
Mr. Toby sailed on with his little dolphin Blue, swimming peacefully alongside the boat. The sun shone in the sky and a gentle breeze blew softly, just rippling the surface of the beautifully shimmering sea. Mr. Toby smiled, a great big smile, and looked at his little dolphin lovingly. "This is the life, isn't it, Blue?"
he said, and Blue leapt out of the water, smiling in a way that dolphins do, and whistled happily back to him.
Suddenly, there was a disturbance in the water. Mr. Toby peered into the sea to have a look, and to his delight, he noticed a fabulous show of codfish swimming all around his boat. The codfish looked all shiny in the water as they flicked their fins and wiggled their tails. Mr. Toby was so happy to see them. The codfish, however, were not very happy. In fact, they were very unhappy indeed. There were lots of poisonous plastic where they swam, much too small to see, which they just couldn't help eating.
"Won't you help us, Mr. Toby?"
They burbled as they swam about, gazing at him with their unblinking fishy eyes.
"We're eating lots of microscopic plastic when we feed, and it's really not good for us. But we can't help it. It's not our fault. It's just everywhere in the sea and in everything that we eat. We didn't put it in the sea. It's plastic waste from humans. But we can't get rid of it."
Mr. Toby wanted to help the codfish, so he asked his little dolphin Blue to do whatever she could. Blue listened to the fish's concerns some more. She clicked sympathetically as they told their sorry tale about how the polluted microplastic harmed their bodies. Blue thought and thought about how she could help the codfish, and then she had a bright idea. She swam around and flapped her flippers in the hope that she could clear away all the minuscule bits of plastic that the fish were eating by mistake. But however many teeny tiny bits of plastic she flapped away, there were always so many more.
Oh dear, said Mr. Toby, feeling sad. What a shame for this poor fish. And he reached for his bag, which had his lunch inside. Then he sighed and said, Never mind. I'm sure someone else will clean up the sea one of these days. There's really nothing much I can do on my own, is there? It's nothing to do with me.
A flock of seagulls flying by heard what Mr. Toby said. They turned their heads sharply and looked at him straight in the eye.
Nothing to do with you?
They cried.
Nothing much you can do? Haven't you just got out a plastic carrier bag you'll use once and throw away? It's everything to do with you, and there's lots you can do.
Bother, those girls are so right, thought Mr. Toby, and he held out his plastic bag in front of him, looking at it disdainfully. Maybe I should stop using plastic bags, he said. There must be something else I can use instead.
Ooh, now you're talking,
commented the seagulls enthusiastic.
Yes, there are much better things to use than plastic. Why not use a bag made out of cotton instead? You could reuse it over and over again.
What an excellent idea,
Beamed Mr. Toby.
Why didn't I think of that?
The seagulls fluffed up their feathers, pointed their beaks in the air, and looked at Mr. Toby quizzically. Then they continued.
Did you know that billions of plastic bags are floating around in the ocean?
Asked one girl.
And that to some creatures they just look like food,
queried another.
And they are very harmful to marine creatures when they eat them by mistake.
They nodded.
They could even hurt Blue,
cried all the girls together. Mr. Toby looked troubled. No, I didn't know that, he commented sadly. You've really given me something to think about. I don't want to hurt any sea creatures at all, especially Little Blue.
Well, don't just think. Leap into action today and stop using plastic bags right now.
Mr. Toby sailed on with his little dolphin Blue, swimming peacefully alongside the boat. The sun shone in the sky and a gentle breeze blew softly, just rippling the surface of the beautifully shimmering sea.
Mr. Toby felt rather thoughtful now, but he put on a brave face, smiled a great big smile, and looked at his little dolphin lovingly. This is the life, isn't it, Blue? He said, hoping to keep her spirits up. Blue leapt out of the water, smiling in the way that dolphins do, and whistled happily back to him. Suddenly, there was a disturbance in the water. Mr. Toby peered into the sea to have a look. And to his delight, he noticed a fantastic gathering of leatherback turtles swimming all around his boat. The leatherback turtles looked so graceful in the water as they flapped their flippers and nodded their heads. Mr. Toby was so happy to see them.
not very happy. In fact, they were very unhappy indeed. There were lots of plastic bags in the ocean where they swam, which, underwater, look confusingly just like jellyfish, and they just couldn't help eating them.
Won't you help us, Mr. Toby?
They grunted as they swam about, gazing at him steadily with their wise, turtly eyes.
We're eating lots of plastic bags when we feed, and are really not good for us.
We can't help it. It's not our fault. They're just everywhere in the sea and they just look like jellyfish to eat.
We didn't put them in the sea.
They're just plastic waste from humans.
But we can't get rid of them.
Mr. Toby wanted to help the leatherback turtles, so he asked his little dolphin Blue to do whatever she could. Blue listened to the turtles worry some more. She whistled and clicked sympathetically as they told the sad tale of how the plastic bags they were eating made their tummies think they were full of food when they were not.
Blue thought and thought about how she could help the leatherback turtles, and then she had a bright idea. She swam round about and gathered as many plastic bags as she could, in the hope to clear away the myriads of plastic bags which the turtles were eating by mistake. But however many plastic bags she collected, there are always so many more.
Blue tried her very best to help the leatherback turtles, but however there was nothing the little dolphin could do. The leatherback turtles knew the kind-hearted dolphin had tried her very best to help them. So they thanked her and bounteously swam away.
Said Mr. Toby, feeling unhappy.
What a shame for those poor turtles.
And he made a cup of coffee to drink himself and sat down. Then he sighed and said,
Never mind. I'm sure someone else will clean up the sea one of these days. There is really nothing much I can do on my own, is there? It's nothing to do with me.
A flock of seagulls flying by heard what Mr. Toby said. They turned their heads sharply and looked at him straight in the eye.
Nothing to do with you.
They cried.
Nothing much you can do. Haven't you just used the plastic cup that you'll use once and throw away? It's everything to do with you. And there's lots that you can do.
Bother! Those gulls are so right.
Thought Mr. Toby, and he held out his plastic cup, looking at it disdainfully.
Maybe I should stop using plastic cups.
He said,
There must be something else that I can use instead.
Ooh! Now you're talking.
commented the seagulls enthusiastically.
Yes, there are much better things to use than a plastic cup. Why not use a cup made out of china or bamboo instead? You could reuse that over and over again.
What a marvelous idea!
Beamed Mr. Toby.
Why didn't I think of that?
The seagulls fluffed up their feathers, pointed their beaks in the air, and looked at Mr. Toby snootily. And then they continued.
Did you know that plastic has extra chemicals added to it to make it last longer?
Asked one gull.
And that when plastic breaks up in the sea and is eaten by mistake, these nasty chemicals leach out.
Queried another.
They are very harmful to marine creatures and their babies too, especially when huge amounts are eaten.
Nodded a third.
They could even hurt Blue.
Cried all the gulls together. Mr. Toby looked aghast.
No, I didn't know that.
He commented sadly.
You have really given me something to think about. I don't want to hurt any sea creatures at all, especially little Blue.
Well, don't just think. Leap into action today.
gulls flapping their wings fervently.
And stop using plastic cups right now!
Mr. Toby sailed on with his little dolphin Blue, swimming peacefully alongside the boat. The sun shone in the sky, and a gentle breeze blew softly, just rippling the surface of the beautifully shimmering sea.
Mr. Toby felt rather perturbed now. He put on a brave face, smiled a great big smile, and looked at his dolphin lovingly.
This is the life, isn't it, Blue?
Suddenly, there was a disturbance in the water. Mr. Toby peered to have a look, and to his delight, he noticed a terrific pod of humpback whales swimming all around his boat.
The humpback whales looked so magnificent in the water as they raised their huge knobbly heads and splashed down with their immense tails. Mr. Toby was so happy to see them.
The humpback whales, however, were not very happy. In fact, they were very unhappy indeed. There was lots of broken up plastic in the ocean where they swam, full of nasty chemicals, which they just couldn't help swallowing.
Won't you help us, Mr. Toby?
They swam as they sang about, gazing at him curiously with their mysterious whaley eyes.
We are eating lots of toxic plastic when we feed, and because we need to eat so very much, it's really not good for us or our babies.
We can't help it. It's not our fault. It's just everywhere in the sea and in everything we eat.
We didn't put it in the sea. It's the plastic waste from the humans. We can't get rid of it.
Mr. Toby wanted to help the humpback whales, so he asked his little dolphin Blue to do whatever she could. Blue listened to the whales' trouble some more. She whistled and clicked sympathetically as they told their tragic tale of how vast amounts of toxic plastic they were eating poisoned the milk they made for their baby calves.
Blue thought and thought about how she could help the humpback whales. And then she had a bright idea. She swam round about and swished her tail in the hope that she could clear away all the nasty toxic plastic which the whales were eating in such enormous quantities by mistake. But however much she swished away, there was always so much more.
Blue tried her very best to think of another way to help, but there was nothing more that a little dolphin could do. The humpback whales knew that the considerate dolphin had tried her utmost to help them, and as they swam majestically away, they thanked her.
Oh dear,
Said Mr. Toby, feeling unhappy.
what a shame for those poor whales.
And he picked up a knife to cut himself a slice of cake to cheer himself up. Then he sighed and said,
Never mind, I'm sure someone else will clean up the sea one of these days. There is really nothing much I can do on my own, is there? It's nothing to do with me.
A flock of seagulls flying by heard what Mr. Toby said. They turned their heads sharply and looked at him straight in the eye.
Nothing to do with you.
They cried.
Nothing much you can do. Haven't you just used a plastic knife that you'll use once and throw away? It's everything to do with you. And there's lots that you can do.
Bother, those gulls are so right.
thought Mr. Toby, and he held out his plastic knife in front of him, looking at it disdainfully.
Maybe I should stop using plastic knives, forks and spoons.
He said,
There must be something else that I can use instead.
Ooh, now you're talking.
commented the seagulls enthusiastically.
Yes, there are much better things to use than plastic. Why not use a cutlery made out of wood or stainless steel instead? You could reuse that over and over again.
What a splendid idea!
Beamed Mr. Toby.
Why didn't I think of that?
The seagulls fluffed up their feathers, pointed their beaks in the air, and looked at Mr. Toby knowingly. And then they continued.
Did you know that plastic doesn't break down for hundreds of years?
Asked one gull.
And in the sea, it eventually gets covered with algae?
Queried another.
This algae makes it smell like food to some seabirds, which is harmful to them and to their baby chicks when they feed it to them by mistake.
Nodded a third. Mr. Toby looked shocked.
No, I didn't know that.
He commented sadly.
You have really given me something to think about. I don't want to hurt any seabirds at all.
Well, don't just think. Leap into action today.
Cried the seagulls, flapping their wings fervently.
And stop using plastic knives, forks, and spoons right now.
Mr. Toby sailed on with his little dolphin Blue, swimming peacefully alongside the boat. The sun shone in the sky and a gentle breeze blew softly, just rippling the surface of the beautifully shimmering sea.
Mr. Toby felt rather distracted now, but he put on a brave face, smiled a great big smile, and looked at his little dolphin lovingly.
This is the life, isn't it, Blue?
He said, hoping to keep her spirits up, and Blue leapt out of the water, smiling in the way that dolphins do, and whistled happily back to him.
The wandering albatross looked so majestic in the sky as they stretched out their enormous wings and soared beautifully through the air. Mr. Toby was so happy to see them.
Won't you help us, Mr. Toby?
The wandering albatrosses, however, were not very happy. In fact, they were very unhappy indeed. There was lots of plastic in the ocean, over which they flew, covered in algae, which made the plastic smell just like food, and they just couldn't help eating it.
Won't you help us, Mr. Toby?
They wailed as they flew about, gazing at him directly with their piercing albatrossy eyes.
We are eating lots of plastic in the skies, and it's really not good for us or our baby chicks. We can't help it. It's not our fault. It's just everywhere in the sea and everything in between. We didn't put it in the sea. It's plastic waste from humans, but we can't get rid of it.
Mr. Toby wanted to help the wandering albatross, so he asked his little dolphin Blue to do whatever she could. Blue listened to the albatross's anxiety some more. She whistled and clicked sympathetically as they told their mournful tale about how they had unknowingly fed dangerous plastic to their baby chicks, thinking it was nutritious food.
Blue thought and thought about how she could help. And then she had a bright idea. She sprayed a plume of water from around the blowhole in the hope that she could wash away the algae, disguising the plastic which the albatrosses were eating by mistake. But however much algae she washed away, there was always so much more.
Blue tried her very best to think of another way to help, but there was absolutely nothing more that a little dolphin could do.
The wandering albatross knew that the thoughtful dolphin had tried her utmost to help them, as they flew away magnificently and thanked her.
Oh dear, said Mr. Toby, feeling miserable. What a shame for those poor albatross.
And he was just about to sit down when he looked out to sea. In the distance, he saw a large fishing boat. It was dropping its fishing nets down into the ocean.
Goodness,
Said Mr. Toby.
just look at those nets. They are so huge.
A flock of seagulls flying by heard what Mr. Toby said. They turned their heads sharply and looked at Mr. Toby straight in the eye.
Did you know that tons and tons of plastic rubbish, including fishing lines and nets, plastic rope, and even balloons tied with plastic string, is piling up in the ocean?
Asked one gull.
And that before very long we'll have more plastic than fish in the sea?
Queried another.
This plastic rubbish is very harmful to marine creatures when they get tangled up in it by mistake.
Nodded a third.
It could even hurt Blue.
Cried all the gulls together.
Mr. Toby looked horrified.
No, I didn't know that.
He commented sadly.
You have really given me something to think about. I don't want to hurt any sea creatures at all, especially little Blue.
The seagulls were just about to continue when suddenly, before they could utter another word, there was a terrific disturbance in the water. Mr. Toby peered into the sea to have a look, and to his delight, he noticed an amazing pod of bottlenose dolphins swimming all around his boat. The bottlenose dolphins looked so spectacular in the water as they whizzed around and acrobatically leapt into the air. Mr. Toby was so happy to see them. The bottlenose dolphins, however, were not very happy. In fact, they were very unhappy indeed. There was lots of fishing nets and lengths of fishing lines in the ocean where they swam, too numerous to count, which they just couldn't help getting tangled up in.
Won't you help us, Mr. Toby?
They whistled and clicked as they swam, gazing at him inquisitively with their friendly dolphiny eyes.
We're getting tangled up in lots of fishing nets when we swim, and it's really not good for us. We can't help it. It's not our fault. They're just everywhere in the sea. We didn't put them in the sea. They're plastic waste from humans, but we can't get rid of them.
Mr. Toby wanted to help the bottlenose dolphins, so he asked his little dolphin Blue to do whatever she could.
Look, Blue,
He laughed with delight.
some dolphin friends have come to see you. But Blue wasn't there. She wasn't swimming peacefully beside the boat. Mr. Toby looked around, but he couldn't see Blue anywhere. Blue!
He called.
Blue! Where are you?
But Blue didn't appear. She was nowhere to be seen.
Mr. Toby became worried. He peered into the sea from each side of his boat, calling desperately for Blue. Then as he peered once again, he thought he saw a shape moving right frantically. It looked just like a little dolphin, although it was wriggling and thrashing about. It really didn't seem to be getting anywhere. Oh no!
Exclaimed Mr. Toby.
That's not Blue down there, is it? I think she's in trouble.
The bottlenose dolphins heard Mr. Toby's cry. They looked at each other in horror. They knew straight away what had happened. Without delay, they each took a big breath of air, closed their blowholes, and swam deep, deep down through the ocean.
Blue's in danger!
They whistled and clicked as they swam.
We've got to get her and rescue her before it's too late!
From afar, the codfish, the leatherback turtles, the humpback whales, and the wandering albatross heard the dolphins' worried exclamations.
That little dolphin tried her very best to help us.
They said,
Now we must do our utmost to help her.
And each and every creature set off to work urgently to rescue little Blue.
The bottlenose dolphins got there first. To their dismay, they found Blue totally trapped in the discarded fishing net. It was wrapped all around her, and struggle though she might, she just couldn't free herself. She was running out of energy. Her movements were getting more feeble and becoming more infrequent. Her lovely dolphin smile was fading, and her eyes looked so sad.
Quick, get to work!
they whistled piercingly at each other.
We've got to get her and rescue her before it's too late.
And then the bottlenose dolphin took a strand of plastic cord and bit and chewed over and over again. And as they chewed over and over again with all their might, the net entangling Blue collapsed and they fell away from her.
Blue gently nodded her head as she whispered a thanks to her dolphin friends. She tried to swim, but she was so weak she just couldn't do it.
We've got to get Blue to the surface fast.
Clicked the bottlenose dolphins urgently.
She desperately needs air to breathe. But how are we going to do it?
Then miraculously, just at that moment, the codfish, the leatherback turtles, the humpback whale appears at the watery scene. They knew that they had to act fast to help the little dolphin, with the wandering albatrosses soaring anxiously above.
The solemn procession swam towards the surface of the ocean, with the humpback whales, cradling little Blue, leading the way. Up and up through the ocean depths the caring creatures swam, until finally they reached the surface of the ocean.
And as they broke the surface of the sea, Blue took an urgently needed breath of air. Her eyes lit up as she flashed spins happily, as the life flooded back into her little dolphin body. Mr. Toby jumped up and down with relief. The seagulls shrieked their loudest, and the wandering albatross cried victoriously. Blue was safe at last.
The flock of seagulls surveyed the jubilant scene. They turned their heads sharply and looked at Mr. Toby straight in the eye. But before they had a chance to open their beaks, Mr. Toby silenced them. Gathering the codfish, the humpback whales, the leatherback turtles, and drew himself as tall as he could and spoke.
I have finally really learned my lesson about the harm that the plastic rubbish in the sea does to all beautiful creatures whose home it is and who depend upon a clean and healthy ocean. What goes into this sea is everything to do with me and every person in this planet too. After all, you didn't dump the plastic rubbish in the sea, did you?
Said Mr. Toby as he turned to look at all the creatures, especially Little Blue. They all shook their heads vehemently.
No, it's our human, man-made plastic rubbish,
He continued.
and it's totally our responsibility to clean it up for you, to have a clean and healthy ocean. You're quite right. There's lots of us can and must do to keep the oceans clean and healthy. Let's get started right now.
That's right, let's get started right now. Did you enjoy the journey underneath the ocean? The excitement, the weight, they're just amazing. That is why we are bringing them back. But first things first, I need you all guys to give a big round of applause to our choir over here. Choir, please stand up, please, please. Let us get a good look at you. Because you were brilliant. You were amazing. You just sound like angels. Don't you think so, mommies and daddies? We also like to thank Mr. TJ right over there. Isn't the sound guy over there? He's our DJ, Mr. TJ, right over there. And if you can see, they've got pom-poms here right on their hands. Well, we've got a surprise for you, but I'm not gonna spill it. No pun intended. Okay, here we go. So we need a music, please, Mr. TJ, because I'm calling back our best performers ever for today. I am starting with our friends from 3A with Miss Joanne. Woo! Give your biggest loud applause. Crowd friends, 3A. To us. Once again, mommies and daddies, 3A with Miss Joanne and with Miss Nidhi. 3A, thank you. If you could step back a little bit more because we need more room for our next batch of friends. Our friends from 3B with Miss Varalakshmi. Brilliant. Woo! They look so amazing. Go 3B. Wave your hands. Be proud. You did an amazing job. Woo! Once again, mommies and daddies, 3B with Miss Varalakshmi. 3B. Now we're going to step back a little bit, about 2 steps back. Thank you very much, because we need room for our next group, which is 3C with Miss Tina. Right over there. 3C with Miss Tina coming up on stage. One more time, my friends. 3C with Miss Tina. 3C. Thank you so very much. At this point, may I request you to please kneel down and take a step back. Thank you so very much, 3B. 3C, thank you. Oh, right over there, there's more. Our friends from 3D with Mr. Daniel. Woo! Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Once again, our friends from 3D with Mr. Daniel. 3D! Thank you so very much. We're going to keep our oceans clean, and we're going to give out a message. So at this point, I'm going to request our speakers, because we prepared some speakers to tell you more about us. And show yourself. Show yourself. Right over here. Grab a mic. Let us hear you. Here. This is better. Take it away.
Superb! Sensational! I am left starstruck by how that story unfolded.
Yes, but why is ocean conservation so important? The ocean covers 3/4 of the Earth's surface and feeds about half of the world's population, as well as being home for millions of animal species.
Hundreds of thousands of which have yet to be found. For far too long, people believed that the ocean was endless and unaffected by human activity.
Unfortunately, scientists have realized the terrible impact of human activities. Our ocean is threatened by climate change, pollution, overfishing, and other types of human exploitation.
What is being done to fight for ocean conservation? And more importantly, what can we do in our everyday life to support it? Spread the word, recycle, reuse, and participate in cleanups.
we could make wonderful changes and new beginnings during our lives on this planet.
Indeed, the new chapters in the story that we are writing with our lives.
The new beginnings.
Today's event would not have been possible without our parents and grandparents who supported our cause.
Dear Mrs. and Mr. Bala and Mr. White, we thank you for gracing this occasion.
Miss Helen, Miss Danielle, Miss Gauri need a special thanks for whose support we join our hands.
A big hand goes to our dear HRTs for their contribution. Thank you, Miss Joanne, Miss Varalakshmi, Miss Tina, and Mr. Daniel, and all teachers who told to prepare us for this presentation.
With Miss Russell's rocking direction, we had no tension. Miss Nilma's diverse and beautiful choreography needs a special mention.
The ocean world was created by Mr. Arvin and Miss Meera. Mr. TJ's foot tapping music created the mood. The aura was created by Miss Dini.
Mr. Chris, Mr. Hari, and Mr. Wilson, thank you for your support with the logistics and preparation.
Dear parents, you sure did your bit. Without your love and support, we wouldn't be so late.
A very big thanks to all for coming to our show. We hope that you enjoyed the show as much as we have. Last but not least, we would like to thank the students for their enthusiasm and energy in putting this show together.
We would now like to invite Mr. Andrew Wyeth, our head of school, to say a few words. Mr. Wyeth, please.
Wow. Miss Russell, can you give me an awesome, please? Awesome! Wow. It was awesome. I had to make, again, lots more notes, so please just bear with me. I can't get this song out of my head, so I'm going to ask you a question. You want to use plastic? No! I didn't hear you. You want to use plastic? No! Oh, okay. Wow, I mean, it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? What we've just seen, the strength of the message, and it will, it's going to stay with me forevermore. And yes, it's absolutely down to us to make a difference, okay? So guys, can we just give them one more round of applause, please? Absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of all the effort that you've put into this production, and of course the result speaks for itself. It was so smooth, so well practiced, and so well performed. And I've said this actually in the other productions, but it is true. My wife is a teacher. She teaches at another school. In fact, my son is actually in the same grade. He's in grade 3. And I've taught at two previous schools with my wife as well. So, and 30 years of teaching. So I've seen lots of grade 3 productions, and it's a bit competitive in our house, like who's got the best school, and we have those conversations all the time. And I'm really looking forward to going home tonight and telling my wife and my son that this is the best grade 3 production I've ever seen. And I mean that. I really, really mean that. But of course, what Miss Helen said about academics is absolutely true. And I've been at previous schools, or known other schools, where 2 weeks before their production, everything stops. And there are no lessons, and they just practice. We don't do that at NPSI. And so it's absolutely remarkable that, their studies and their lessons, they've continued, and of course, and produced this as well. So thank you so much. I love the script, the music, the singing, the choir, and Dr. Bindu, who was here this morning, who unfortunately can't be here this afternoon, but she said, keep practicing because you've got a gift, and it's absolutely right. So guys in the choir and those that were singing, keep practicing. It's really important with singing. So, yeah, the acting, the recital of words, the accuracy of the words, the choreography, dancing, positioning on stage, and of course the splits. Miss Russell, can you teach me to do the splits again?
I think you have to ask Miss Nilima on this one.
Maybe I'm beyond the point of no return. But I mean, again, just so amazing. The set, the props, the costumes. I love the sailor outfits. Can I have one of those, please? It was just all so good, and like I said, such a powerful message. I just want to echo a few thanks myself. So, and of course, it's been a massive team effort. Many people involved. Specific thanks to Miss Gary for all her work behind the scenes, her organisation and leadership. Of course, Miss Joanne, grade 3, all the teachers, Miss Russell. If we could bottle Miss Russell's positivity, we would make a lot of money. We would make a lot of money. Miss Nilima, Mr. Matthew, Mr. Arvin, Miss Mira for the art, Mr. TJ for his musical wizardry, Miss Dina, Mr. Wilson, as we've said, Mr. Chris, Mr. Harry, Mr. Hong, and all the teachers who helped out with covering lessons when it was needed. And of course, Miss Helen, Miss Danielle, and Miss Gary for all of their leadership that goes on behind the scenes on a daily basis. And of course, finally, to thank our mums and dads, brothers and sisters, and I'm sure they've been practicing with you as well. So you probably know a lot of the words yourself. So again, a massive team effort. Let's just give everyone one final round of applause, please. So just finally from me, just to say, take care. This is probably the last time that we're going to be together before the break, and of course before we move to Hillside Drive. So I know it's a bit early, but I want to wish you a merry Moby Toby Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. White. Do all we raise our hats and say farewell until we meet again next year.
Dear parents and audience, please stay seated until the students have returned to the auditorium after collecting their belongings. Meanwhile, please relax and enjoy some clips from behind the scenes. Thank you once again.
Woo! Awesome, awesome, awesome. Can't say it enough. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Because that's what I've been saying from the beginning to the end. But as much as we'd like to stay, we need to go. And I'm pretty sure you're all excited to give them a hug, congratulate them. I could understand because they were just truly amazing. Give them another round of applause, please, Thomas and Larry. But at this point, Hey guys, can we give mommies and daddies and our guests some kisses, please? Like blow like that. 1, 2, 3. Because they were all so amazing. Give them a round of applause. You got some awesome parents, awesome audience over here. That's the reason why we prepared another number for you before you go to keep your smile going as you exit our auditorium. I even have my dancers over here. Please show yourself with the pom-poms. Ready to say hooray? You ready? You ready? Yeah. Well, stand up. Let's boogie. Mr. TJ, music, please. I know. This is really it. Did we prepare any more songs? Did we? No. What was that again? How did you sing that song just now? The oceans. Can you sing it for me? 1, 2, 3. The oceans are blue. Oceans are so blue. The oceans are wide. Oceans are so wide. The oceans are water. So many creatures. Thank you. You know, you really sound amazing too. Well, we only need this one, right? Well, anyways, guys, mommies and daddies, we won't keep you waiting. Another round of applause to our actors, our cast and crew, our teachers, to you too. So at this point, may I ask our friends from 3D. 3D with Mr. Daniel, please stand up, show yourselves, be proud, be strong, wave your hands as we say adios. 3D, everybody, with Mr. Daniel. Swim along. At this point, please, 3C, please stand up. Mommies and daddies, 3C, step forward. Show yourselves, you are amazing. We are truly proud of you. 3C with Miss Tina. 3C. Swim along. Now, I'm going to ask our friends from 3B. 3B, step forward. Woo! Give us a round of cheer. 3B with Miss Vara Lakshmi. 3B, you're brilliant. Bravo. See you soon. Scoot along. Last but not least, shall we welcome back, right in front, our friends from 3A! 3A, you were amazing! 3A with Miss Joanne and Miss Nidhi. 3A, we are proud of you. See you soon. So, we're left with a choir. They need to go too. As much as they would like to serenade you, we need to go too, right? Not after one, click a picture. Take a picture, show your best pose ever. Woo-hoo! You rock, choir. Wonderful. Thank you, choir, with Mr. TJ right over there, our choir master. You can leave your pom-poms here. Would you like to leave your pom-poms here? I know. Thank you so very much. Yes. Our choir guys. Amazing. See that? You rock. Okay, so, well, you're left with me. But for those mommies and daddies, for those who are actually waiting for your child to come back, they will be here soon. We'll be doing an announcement. So meanwhile, please sit down and relax. We're going to play again in loop the video that we showed earlier for those who have not seen it. For those who've seen it, enjoy it one more time. Meanwhile, please enjoy yourselves. Thank you so very much. And please, before I forget, have a heart. Please get some plants, buy our plants downstairs to get a piece of memento from our branch over here, our school over here in Bedo. Plants right over there, very affordable, and at the same time, you're giving them another home. Save the plants. Aside from the ocean though. Yeah. Thank you.